Hello, hello, Veggie fam. It's your girl Ashley of Frobless Veggies, and thank you guys so much for tuning in for another top 10, top 5 list last week, top 10 list this week. In honor of Black History Month, I'm going to be sharing with you my top 10 favorite Black podcasts, along with some honorable mentions, honey, because of course we know the list is long, but here are a few that I listen to on a daily, weekly basis. And yeah, I wanted to share that with all of you. So let's take us a nice little seat and let's get into this list, shall we? Okay, I got my list, so let's kick us off. In the number 10 spot, and I will give this disclaimer too, this was a very hard list to come up with from 1 to 10, so I don't know, it is very difficult, but just know that they're all great and they all had a great impact on me, okay, in a positive way. So just kicking us off here, we got Therapy for Black Girls with Dr. Joy Harden Bradford, honey. She is a psychologist based out of Atlanta. And I love this podcast because it gives us Black women a safe space to talk about mental health, to talk about navigating life as a Black woman, honey. I mean, she gives topics each week. So fully and thoroughly enjoy listening to her podcast. And honestly, thankfully, I have now a Black woman therapist too, to be able to have that time with my therapist, but also for those in betweens, we got Dr. Joy. So shout out to Dr. Joy and Therapy for Black Girls. Okay, so for number 9, the slot. For number 9, we have Best Friends. Yes, Best Friends, hosted by Nicole Byer and Shashir Zamata, honey. And I love this podcast because they're two comedians. They are already funny on their own. They're actresses, or actors, so they already have that lens that we can also hear about, like their fun adventures. But it truly just feels like you're listening to conversations with best friends. You're just a little fly on the wall listening to their conversations, and they're having a good time. They're laughing. They play BuzzFeed quizzes with one another. It is just such a good time. So I love that. It is a good, happy place. And Nicole also has another podcast. I'll just mention that as well. And it's called Why Won't You Date Me? Which is another funny in the midst of things going on in the world. Just a nice little bright spot. So I have them slotted at number 9. Okay, so coming in at number 8 spot, we have a newbie. I newly discovered this show, the podcast. I've heard of the show. I've heard of the podcast, to be honest, but I really got into it recently and just started from the beginning, and just I've been working my way up. It is called Scam Goddess by another comedian, actor, Lacey Mosley. Okay, and what I love about her is she brings a little bit of comedy, although scamming is not a good look. It is horrible. Fraud is not it. She brings a bit of comedic lightness to it as she gives you research behind some of the biggest scams and scam artists out there. So anything for fraud, any type of fraud, she uncovers it and she gets to it. And I love now that she has the TV show on Hulu, so you get to see her actually interact with people, and sadly with some of the victims you get to see it. But she does a really great job of just truly uncovering the truth with that. It's a bit of detective work mixed with comedy. So if you want a little bit of that, check out Scam Goddess. Coming in at the lucky 7 spot, I think it's almost kind of fitting to have them at number 7. I'm not going to lie. I have Sibling Rivalry with my favorite queens, Bob the Drag Queen and Monet Exchange, honey. I just love them. I really do. I love to see them. They are a good time. Truly are siblings. If you listen to the podcast, it's pretty much like siblings just going at it all the time, but sharing some fun in between. And the best part about it that I like, outside of just having their weekly updates, they also do like a recap of some of the RuPaul's Drag Race, and they like chat about it, their likes, their dislikes, and all of that for the week. And I just love it. I love a good kiki, honey. So number 7, make sure to check out Bob the Drag Queen and Monet Exchange. Now at number 6, I just want to say I'm so grateful for this podcast because the inner nerd in me, I feel like I found my people. This podcast is called For All Nerds, okay? And it is hosted by DJ Ben Hameen, okay, and Tatiana King. And I love them so, so much. Like, I don't even know how I came across their podcast, but I thank God that I did, because they do everything from sharing updates for comics, or just giving reviews on some of your favorite DC, Marvel, upcoming shows and things like that, or Star Wars, like anything in the nerd universe you can think of. They create a safe space for all of us. Of course, it's Black, so we got a little extra on it when we giving those descriptions, honey. But if you are a nerd, if you are a Black nerd, if you love things like X-Men and Marvel and things like that, this is your safe space, okay? So make sure to check them out. Okay, so we're halfway there. Coming in at number 5, I'm going to be talking about the podcast R&B Money. Okay, shout out to Tank from Milwaukee. Shout out, hometown. Shout out to Tank and Jay Valentine. I think this podcast is so brilliant. For all of you who love R&B music and sometimes just want to hear the background stories, if you love Unsung, this is more of a, I don't know, this is a more lighthearted, like unsung version of something where you get to have different weekly guests come in and they talk about their experience being R&B artists or being on the backside of it, being producers, being songwriters, like even being on even more of a deeper like business side of it, like the money management, things like that. This is such a great platform to learn about the history behind that and some of your favorite artists, okay? And they do it in a smooth way. And Tank, he always has to sing on there, so he has his little singing moments, honey. So a great show. Very proud of Tank, okay? You see Milwaukee, you see us. But yeah, so that's number 5. Had to recommend. Coming in at number 4, we have another newbie for me because I recently discovered them last year. But when I tell you they have a special place in my heart, shout out to Sistas Who Kill. Now stay with me, okay? Stay with me. I know this, it sounds crazy, but this is for all the people who love to watch those shows, those like murder mysteries, like true crime. They are a true crime podcast, but get this, they highlight Black stories. Okay, and sometimes you don't really always get that from like a Black woman's perspective. It is hosted by 2 friends, Mariah and Taz. Okay, and they have really truly, like, I don't know, I'm obsessed. Okay, I am one of those people who love a good true crime. I love to watch it. I love to see, like, dang, and sometimes I'll be like, I hope they make it. I hope the justice is served there. But what I really appreciate about their show is they also be like, if I did this crime, this is how I think I would have got away with it. Because yeah, like, come on, we're thinking about it. Because you have made other like steps. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that I'm out here doing crime. I'm just saying, let's think. You know what I'm saying? And they address that too. So I love this show. I'm so happy I came across it. Huge fan. And I will continue to support them moving forward. So that is number 4 on the list, honey. Okay, we made it to the top 3, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in and watching so far. I mean, we are getting through this list. I hope we're enjoying it. Okay. So at number 3 spot, I have Higher Learning, and this is hosted by Van Lathan and Rachel Lindsay. Okay. And what I love about their podcast is, one, it gives a good perspective of like Black man, Black woman. They're both authors. They've both been in the industry. They host different things. They have podcasts outside of this one that they co-host together. So they give a lot of perspective, right? And what I like is they try to go across the board with highlighting Black culture, politics, and even sports sometimes. So it taps into all those areas that I enjoy and love. And I love that we can have a healthy debate on this show. It's really nice. The thought warriors. You see that's how you know I'm a fan. If you know, you know. Okay, so yeah, check them out if you're into having that safe space. They have a lot of also activists that they have come on as well and speak about different things that are and topics that are actually happening, current events that are happening. So I mean, it's a really cool podcast. So make sure to check them out. Okay, so coming in number 2 spot, we have the Friend Zone, and I love this collective, honey. It is co-hosted with 3 co-hosts. It's Hey Friend Hey, Asante, and Dustin. And I love this because it just feels like community. That's the best way to describe this podcast. You cover health and wellness. You cover highlighting Black businesses. You cover comedy. You cover Real Housewives and all the reality TV shows. And you also cover like future thinking and things that are happening in the world, current events. I mean, it is just a dope podcast. That's all I can say. Um, Shout out to them. I've been supporting them for years, and I am always just like ready for their weekly updates, honey. So make sure to check them out. Okay, so coming in at the number one spot, we got The Read. Yes, hosted by Kier Fury and Crystal. I'm pretty sure a lot of people who are Black women listen to this, and some Black men, you never know, but I thoroughly enjoy The Read. This was the first podcast that I actually bought tickets to see them in person. Although it did get canceled and I haven't been able to go back to another show, but that's okay. I fully support them, love them down. This podcast gives you everything from current events in Black culture to listener letters, honey, where you just listening to people, and it is just hilarious. I don't mean to laugh at people's incidents, but honey, it is a funny thing to have Crystal and Kid Fury try to give people advice about those certain things, and it's like same. I would probably give the same advice. It is just funny. And Kid Fury has he's a comedian as well, so you get the comedy with that. And Crystal, like, I love her laugh. Her laugh alone is just so heartwarming. Love to laugh. And also too, like, shout out to her because like she's a therapist, and so she gives mental health guidance as best as she can on the show too. And I just love it. I just love that this is such a safe space for Black people to go to and just be and exist. Like, period. Just be and exist and have a good time. And they've been putting that out into the world for over a decade now. So very proud of them. Very just, if you haven't, I'm pretty sure you have, but just make sure to tune into them because they are just amazing. So many blessings to honestly everybody and everybody on the list who have just put so much good into this world and light into this world and just positivity and showcasing the beautiful different elements and embodiments of Black people. I just love it. I just love us for real. I am going to do honorable mentions, so hold on one second. Okay. I just had to make sure because again, this was very hard and I even had to cut this one short because I didn't want to do too much. But I did want to mention, here's the thing with that chick Angel and Kevin on stage because I love them too. They're so funny. They're comedians. They're actors. They're just great people. They do Black culture and just each week current events and just funny comedic things, and I just love them down. So watch them and listen to them. The 85 South show, love them. That they're hosted by DC Young Fly, also Carlos Miller and Chico Bean. And these are, if you haven't heard these names, I'm sure you have on Wildin' Out, but they have their own podcast as well. And it just feels like three homeboys just chopping it up, having a good time and cackling throughout. I just love it. And then my childhood favorite, who has stepped into the adult realm as well, LeVar Burton reads. For all of you Reading Rainbow kids, yes, he has a podcast, and when I tell you, it's amazing because it's adult books now. So he just reads, not listens. He reads all of his favorite books, and he gives you like an excerpt for the week of one of his favorites for the week, and you just get all the sounds and all the elements. And I just thank you, LeVar Burton. I mean, truly, I loved reading because of you. So yeah, these are some other ones, but again, this is just a few of the many because I know there's so many amazing ones out there. So let's wrap up the video. Forgot to mention too, all of these can be listened to on Spotify. And I've noticed that a couple of them are on the Black Effect Network as well, if I'm not mistaken. But Spotify is where I listen to all of these. So you can find them there. And feel free to check out their websites too. They're available there as well. So yeah, let's wrap up the video. Okay, it's the wrap up. It's the wrap up. What do y'all think of my list? I know I left some hanging, so please feel free to put more in the comments below. But thank you guys so much for tuning in with your girl Ashley of Frobless Veggies, where we're always cooking up fresh greens on a daily. And in this case, I'm just sharing some of my top favorites for Black History Month. So make sure to tune in next time. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.